Good morning from New York. Today's subject: can an atheist be a mystic? Well, of course, that depends on how you define a mystic. A rational definition of a mystic doesn't involve any kind of supernatural belief. Why do I say that? Well, a mystic is about experience, having an experience which is non ego, uh, connection to a sense of something greater than yourself. And by that definition, sure. Um, one thing, when the people talk about a higher self, that sort of, well, consider the mysterious brain, which in studies have been shown to know what you're going to decide to do before you're aware that you decided. That's pretty mysterious. Huh? That's a higher self. If it's you, that's your higher self. That part that actually comes up with the conclusions. So it won't go into is there free will? I think Sapolsky answered that quite well. I don't. I'm not going to go there. Not necessary. Um, yeah. And then there's the subject-object illusion that we have, that the mystic supposedly sees beyond. And well, um, yeah, that doesn't require a supernatural belief. We only see a slim aspect of what we know is reality, and we don't know all of reality. So the subject and object thing is another topic, though. I diverted from for a moment there. I want to throw that in, but the idea that you are this stable all the time self that um, is always your main point of reference, and you look out at things and those are the objects. Actually, there's an interplay of all kinds of chemical reactions and between yourself and even out there somewhat, but especially all of the different energies, forms of energy that are moving through you, within you, and back from you. Um, these things. Where's the subject? There's just this flow of things happening in reality. Gets into a very interesting topic, and that is why preservation. You seek a preservation, um, of your life or your family's life, this sort of thing. And yeah, that that has to be a part of natural law. And I don't know how well that's been integrated. Kind of I would say if I were to jump over to physics, it's kind of a kind of gravity hanging on to preservation, the status quo to the extent possible. So maybe there's a connection there. The concept of the absolute truth, the thing greater than yourself, like I say, an atheist can have that concept as well. The absolute truth being everything. And the mystic goes for the experience sort of thing. It's not a thing where you draw conclusions. It's an experience that is valuable to the mystic, and I would guess to anybody. And so yeah, no problem. But the personification of the absolute truth, which some people would call God, can an atheist have that kind of personification in their mind? Is it useful? I say yes. The personification of greater than yourself, and that higher than yourself, the integration of everything. Yeah, you can kind of personify that. I think that would be an identification with your brain, and an interchange between your dramatic experience in life and your brain, which is actually where everything's going on as far as your consciousness. Consciousness. Yeah, consciousness is also brain interacting with the body. But that's an experience, and personifying the brain would seem to be quite natural. And the brain, of course, is a sense of something bigger than your dramatic self, which involves your ego concept, other limited views of self, detached views of self. Yeah. So that personification is quite plausible, and so when you look at it that way, you can see why the Unitarian Universalist Church can include people who are atheists. There's some people who believe there's something more to it than that. Who knows? Maybe there is. But and there are those who don't like to speculate, reason in things that they can give evidence for, good evidence for. plausible things based on things that do have evidence. And they don't want to go there. And that's your atheist, and okay. But mystics all get along. They can get along. And I think the Unitarian Church is, the Universalist Church is an example of that. Yeah. So now I've gone over into the Unitarian Universalist Church from Can an Atheist Be a Mystic? How about that journey? I might as well keep going, right? All kinds of, but yeah, I think I've pretty much summed up the position I have on that. The inner mind communication that we have, this is, well, that could be much larger than present as practices using the imagination, so on. But that's how I define inner communication in that narrow sense. And it's extremely useful. So how does the imagination fit into all of this? Of course, an atheist can have an imagination. They can enjoy fantasy movies. So, in fairy tales, religion has fairy tale, has its value there. And so, how does the imagination fit in? Well, having play in your imagination is can allow you to have communications between different perspectives in yourself. And as I've gone over before, there's the dramatic self, which I call the kid, and it communicates with three forms in the sphere of three forms of empathy. And those forms would involve the kid talking to the compassionate you, caregiver, and that would be compassionate empathy. And communicating between itself, again, the dramatic self, and your inner counselor, which is objective empathy, caring, trying to feel what others should feel. And yeah, but in an objective way. The communication between oneself and the creative, the reason I say the creative is that higher self, that personification. The absolute truth. That's as close as you're going to get. Why? Because the creative part of you is that which creates the imagination in which all of these dialogues take place. Um, so it's kind of like we should talk about. All of these are expansions. This is our Hindu concept. Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Um, but the creative creates your your imagination, and within that imagination we have the inner counselor and the caregiver, and we play all these roles. That's the connection. We're playing all of these roles all the time, and this does relate to how we communicate in society. And these things are a connection to virtue, compassion to goodness, objectivity to truth, and creativity to art. The connection of purposeful play. Now the infant mind, yeah, the atheist can go there too. The infant mind is pre-language, practices that talk about practice. Um, it's where all of these entities were root of these entities were born, and the ability to focus. That focus is essential to objectivity, essential to learning. So you've got to be able to focus. And, so you can say that objective empathy, well, from our ability to focus, our ability to be at play, even fish can do, the ability to play evolved into purposeful play, activity. And people will say, well, that's it's not how I define creativity. Okay. That's my definition. It works for me in these contexts. So anyway, then what about the other ability that you have to express? Now, what are you focusing on? You're focusing on your needs, your feelings, and food. You're being at play with how you feel, and you express how you feel. And expression of how you feel is something that in social situations evolve into compassionate empathy. Because compassion is what permits, it provides us safety for feelings to be expressed. And, yeah. So, what can an atheist do? Atheists can do all those things and not believe in anything supernatural at all. Can you do these things and believe in something supernatural. Yes, you can. So again, back to the Unitarian Universalist. Put all these people together. I would like to knock on their door and let them know that mystics. That should be your focus. Why? Because religion divides. But the mystic aspect of it unites religions. So I'll end it here. You think, finally. Yeah. You know, there's nothing more boring than listening to yourself. You kind of know what's coming, right? You have a guess. Not always in this practice, you know, surprising things happen. I hope that you learn about it. And you can learn about it at innermindcommunication.com. Even a phone number. Yeah, actually. Yes, we would answer the phone. Anyway, yeah, probably. If I'm not, then leave me a message. Is this a business? But people who want to donate, yeah, find a way to do that, I suppose. Give me a call. But I want this to be free for everyone. Yeah, as much as possible. If you donate, then it helps the voice. So get this process out. And, yeah, it can be professionalized. You know? You can be a trainer for people without serious problems. Or you can, as a therapist, you can use these approaches. What is the core of this whole thing? What is it? It's not just about mysticism. Really, it really is, but it also is healing. It's a problem that blocks the goals of the mystic are things that a person really didn't. That's something they necessarily did wrong. That's wrapped up in it. It's damaged faith and love. That's the boogeyman. Therapist welcome. Yeah, that's an unlearning of helplessness involved with these communications. And the reason these things were blocked was helplessness. It's not something that the mammal can deal with. Get sick or die. So, to ease the anxiety, the brain, higher power, jumps in with symbols that are more attainable in circumstances that preferable, that allow greater sense of being able to help yourself. Trouble with all of that is can't be satisfied with symbols and play in and of itself. It breaks down. Can't allow the expression of for feelings that were trapped in helplessness. So, feeling these things to unlearn the helplessness. And in my next video, I will talk about path to virtue. Unless I change my mind. As I like to do at the end of my presentations, is to remind us all that this mysterious wonder talking about exists in all of us. Wonders. Wow. And so I would like to honor that traditional way by saying namaste. Namaste. And wonder, virtue, it's in each of us. Honor each of us.